Hi everyone and welcome for this last part for Ghazghull Thraka. So it was a very long miniatures to paint, but it was a real pleasure. So I'm going to make more and more content in that level of painting, because my channel have a lot of basic tutorial, more than 200. So I think for this year I'm going to make more qualitative content in different parts like that. Thanks again for everyone. Don't hesitate to like my video. That's always a good thing to make me a great feedback. Ask if you have any question into the comment. And we are going to finish these big miniatures by doing an other source lighting on the gun and adding a little bit of blood and oil on the base. So for that I'm going just by using some airbrush on the gun. I'm going to use some red directly. This paint is red pure from Liquitex. It's an ink, and I'm going to make some few and small layer and step by step pushing my red to have something more and more strong, but every time focus to have a more strong color on the end of the gun, to show that the color come from this way. That's very important to think about always having a more strong color at the end of the gun. That's going to create the other source lightning effect. Now with some translucent orange directly apply with my brush, I'm going with the side of my brush by pushing my highlights on every edges of the end of gun and a little bit in the different parts. More I'm going to be away from the end of my gun, and less I'm going to push my highlight with this different kind of color. As you can see, I use the edges to push my highlights, but I use, by the way, in the same time a little bit the different surfaces to push my highlight always in the direction where are my more strong highlights on the edges. Now with some red Pyrrole I come back just to clean my transition and have a better and strong color on my different parts. Remember that using airbrush is perfect to have nice transition, but it's very difficult with airbrush to have very strong color. So using brush is always a good thing to push your contrast and to push more strong color. And for that I come back with my red and just making layer and layer of red to have a more strong red at the end of my gun and on all the different parts. Now with some few points, very small and thin points of white, I'm going to push again my highlights on some few parts. Take care about having a very small and thin point of white, because if you have something too large, it's going to remove the yellow from your gun, and it's going to be less OSL effect. Now with some lemon yellow I come back on the end of my gun and push again my highlight on this part. Take care to have some few and small layer. It's going to be more easy to have something strong step by step, not necessarily directly very strong. That's more easily after that to clean up the different surfaces. Now with some orange, so the same trolls layer orange, I come back and I push again a little bit my shadow into the end of gun. Take care to make some very few and light layer once again, and step by step, layer after layer, you can focus on the smaller and smaller surfaces to create your transition. Now with some red Pyrrole I come back and make it again on the smaller surfaces, always in the same way, just to clean and have better transition. Now to push just a little bit my contrast, I come back with a mix between trolls layer orange and lemon yellow, and I push again my different edges to have a more strong highlight on some few and small parts. don't hesitate to ask if you have any question into the comments, and I will try to answer as soon as possible. Now I'm going to make some blues. I'm just going to use a point, and I'm going to use some X27 from Tamiya to create my blood effect by pushing at beginning just just a little bit of X Vincets, and after making some line from a point from the source of my blood and pushing it to be sure that I have some line, and take care to don't have some parallel line. You need to have some line while going like a sun. It's very important because it's going to show in which direction the blood is going to go, and that's a very important thing. And now with a little bit of X18, I'm going to push this Tamiya just to create some oil on some few parts, like as you can see. You can use it on some few parts of the miniatures, the one who can more easily take oil, as you can see, and that's going to give more volume to your miniatures, because you are going to mix some brilliant and shine effects and some matte effects. Thanks again for watching. I really hope you like this kind of tutorial, because I'm going to make a lot of very qualitative tutorial like that one. Subscribe to my channel if it's not the case. Don't hesitate to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and you can always find me on Patreon if you want to support me, so you can have access to more content in video, and private group on Facebook, so you can share me your work, and I can make you some feedback. By the way, during the feedback live, all my Patreon will have feedback directly on Photoshop, so I can show you directly on your photography of your miniatures how you can improve and have a better result. Thank you again for watching, and see you soon for the next tutorial. Bye bye.